500 years have passed since the dreadful and enigmatic beasts wiped out humanity. The ancient weaponry required to repel incursions from these creatures can only be used by a select band of young females known as the leprechauns. A young man who lost everything in his final struggle 500 years ago, the last living person to awaken from a long freezing sleep, enters the girl's precarious and ephemeral life, where a call to certain death could come at any time. When he's unable to continue the fight, Willem takes on the role of the girl's absent father, providing for and guiding them while also adjusting to his new life and experiencing the agony of helplessly waiting for the loved ones to return from battle that his daughter once experienced for him so long ago. Together, Willem and the daughters learn what family means and what is genuinely deserving of protection over time. To get the full narrative, make sure to stay tuned until the end. A young woman with red hair named Katali appears in a flashback, describing her love for a man just before she jumps to her death from an airship. Katali, who now has blue hair, is running through a market in a town full of beastmen in the present day after a cat stole her pendant. She falls off a bridge but is saved by a man who also saves her and finds her pendant. Katali spends the day with Willem to avoid conflict with the beastmen before being carried away by enigmatic guards commanded by a lizard man. Later, Willem visits a tavern where he's offered military employment as the keeper of an armory on a floating island, which he accepts reluctantly. When Willem arrives late at night, he's surprised to discover that the island doesn't contain any weapons, but rather several young girls, including Katali, who's clearly older than most of them, and a troll acquaintance of his named Nigalatho, who serves as the girl's maid. Willem resolves to continue on the job despite prior recruits quitting after only one day because he has undisclosed expertise with children. The armory doesn't house weapons since the females are the weapons. Katoli explains as he's getting ready for a night. A little girl who addressed him as her father tends to an adolescent Willem in a pre-battle scene that takes place 526 years ago. The narrator says that Willem never went home and within a year humanity perished. All the girls are introduced to Willem, but because they have never been around men, they're intimidated by him. After making friends with Ithea and Nephrin, two of the kids Catholi's age, he finally wins over the other kids by cooking for them. Ithea makes fun of Catholi for having feelings for Willem. Uneasy, Willem asks a reticent Nigalatho to identify the girls for him. The females, according to Nigalatho, are leprechauns who have mimic human behavior and are the only creatures capable of using dug weapons. The only weapons capable of killing the 17 animals. Soon after, Ithea and Catholi depart for a few days to battle one of the animals, but they safely return. After picking them up and running to the lizard man once more, Willem informs Ithea that he plans to remain with the girls because they make him think of someone he knew who was in a similar circumstance. She tells Willem while attending the Catholi that in 5 days the animals plan to fire a massive ball of energy that can only be stopped by suicide charge from the girls, this time led by her. She asks him to kiss her goodbye as her last wish. Catholi returns to sleep as Willem recalls that someone, a young woman with red hair by the name of Lilia. Willem and Nephrin stay up all night searching through the archives for a method for Catholi to live. Willem then leads Catholi outside to fight them in a duel. Willem easily overcomes Catholi while both are using dug weapons, claiming that the leprechaun's crude combat style and ignorance of the dug weapons is what keeps them from greater success. She tells the girls later that night that she discovered William frozen in ice years earlier and was able to thaw and heal him. All the girls respond to Willem with curiosity, with the exception of Catholi, who in her distress flies away and meets with the lizard man, who it is revealed is named Limeskin. They learn that Willem is the world's last human, now known as Amnawiths, and is mocked by all other hyper-sentient species. When Catholi gets back to the island, she finds Willem working on her sword and tells her that dug weapons are created from people's wishes. She chooses to accept Willem's offer to properly instruct her, and she also requests that he make her butter cake should she return safely. Unaware that Willem had already been promised the same thing by the girl who bade him goodbye before he headed off to battle the beasts, she decides to accept his offer to teach her properly. After that, Catholi, Ithea, and Nephrin go fight the creatures. Willem continues to look after the girls more than 2 weeks after Catholi's group disperses, but he starts having dreams in which the trio perish while on their quest. One of the females, Tiat, eventually experiences a unique dream in which she converses with an unexpected person. This dream is known as a harbinger dream and calls for an instant medical checkup. To accomplish this, Tiat needs to be examined at a hospital, so Willem and Tiat journey to Corna de Luce, an island where humans and beastmen coexist. They see beastmen destroying another beastman's business for an unknown reason, after finishing their tour at a well-known statue of the city's founder. Willem secretly intervenes, allowing the latter to be taken into custody. The head physician informs Willem that the Harbinger dream is said to be a sign that a leprechaun has reached the age of adulthood and is capable of engaging in warfare as Tiet receives her checkup. Tiet, like other ladies, needs to get checked out so that their bodies can be best prepared. Privately, Willem feels upset that Tiet was sent into battle at such a young age. Willem gets up early the next morning after spending the night at a military installation. A dog-beast woman he encounters asks Willem to deliver a message to Limeskin and reveals she's hiding a weapon. When Limeskin and the three girls enter the compound, Willem collapses in despair, but Limeskin and the girls are fine. To everyone's amazement, Willem rushes to Cathali out of exhaustion and gives her a bear hug using magic. Cathali, Ithea, and Nephrin battled the beast 18 hours earlier, but as it changed forms, Limeskin gave the order for a tactical retreat, requiring the island to be abandoned. Cathali makes an effort to ignore this and continue battling, but she suddenly has a vision of a young girl speaking ominous, eerie words that quickly cause her eyes to turn crimson. The dog-beast woman Willem encounters, who turns out to be Fyra, the daughter of Limeskin's friend, interrupts them. She provides Limeskin with proof of death threats made by the Annihilation Knights, an organization of white supremacists against her father, the mayor of Corna de Luce, for his support of racial integration. Fyra continues to accompany Willem and the leprechauns as they rescue Tiet in spite of their rejection, and after that treats them to lunch and takes them on the sightseeing trip that Willem had earlier promised Tiet. Catholi continues to experience the visions she had during the war during the tour, but she resolves to keep them to herself. Willem discovers later that the Annihilation Knights are pursuing them with the intention of Fyra's abduction. As night falls, Catholi draws Willem aside and forces him to explain that his desire for a fight was motivated by an irrational urge to commit suicide. Upon hearing this, Catholi realizes she's in love with him. Willem went to meet his old friend, the great sage Suong, while Catholi and the other fairies headed back to their warehouse. They share memories of the past. Noft and Rantog, two fairy soldiers, are sent to escort a group of salvagers to the surface. They encountered Grick, a friend of Willem's there. Rantog starts asking great questions about the beasts as he muses over how they relate to his or own personal reasons for existing. Regarding the situation with the salvagers on the surface, Willem was called to the military installation on Island 49. Much to his chagrin, he was instructed to send one fairy soldier from the warehouse to the surface. Catholi doubted her ability to maintain her uniqueness. Ithea appeared to her and informed her that Catholi wasn't the only one who struggled with past life memories. Ithea started reciting a tale of a certain girl whose uniqueness was destroyed by the remembrance of her former existence. When Willem met with Rantok and Nopt, he promptly took care of their venereal poisoning. Even so, Rantok is still unable to believe the lone Mnetwit survivor who was wiped out by the 17 beasts. Willem and Catholi met with Crick to see the remains of Willem's birthplace, Golmak City, although they were still feeling a little awkward from the proposal from the day before. A massive earthquake and a swarm of Temeri emerged out of nowhere. The Temeri horde was resisted by Nephrin, Rantok, and Noft, but their overwhelming numbers eventually forced the fairies into a corner. Willem entered the battle and engaged the Temeri when his body was wounded. Catholi gave Elk one more request in her final moments. And that concludes the show. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more such exciting anime content and recaps. See you in the next video. See you in the next